Hey, welcome back. Let's talk about manures, fertilizers, and irrigation. Now, we all require nutrients and minerals for our growth, right? Now, just like us, plants also require a certain amount of nutrients so that they can grow properly and complete their life cycle. The nutrients that are added to the soil for the proper growth of plants are called fertilizers and manures. Let's talk about them in detail. Manures are the decomposed organic matter. When the plant and the animal waste is dumped at a particular place, microorganisms act on these waste matter and they decompose them. The decomposed matter acts as the manure for the plant and they support their growth. The manures are the natural organic matter added to the soil. Now, the manure helps in increasing the productivity of the plants grown on it. On the other hand, fertilizers are chemicals which are synthesized in the factories. These contain the essential nutrients required by the plants. Urea, potash, ammonium phosphate are some examples of fertilizers. Farmers prefer fertilizers because it generally acts faster as compared to the organic manure. It's also absorbed more quickly by the plants. Now let's know why these manures and fertilizers are needed by the farmers. It's because farmers grow and harvest different crops year after year on the same field. Now this practice deprives the soil of the nutrients. So to replenish the nutrients back into the soil, these fertilizers are added. The manures are organic, so they do not harm the soil.
Hey, I'm feeling happy because I'm getting natural nutrients.
Neither they harm the environment, but the excess use of fertilizers harms the soil.
Oh no, I'm getting sad because I'm spoiling.
They also act as the source of water pollution because during rains, the fertilizer present in the soil is drained off by the water bodies. Now, for replenishing the nutrients back in the soil, farmers are advised to perform crop rotation. Now, in this practice, different crops are grown in the same field in alternate manner. Like in one season, mustard is grown in the field, and in another season, chickpeas are grown in the same field. Now, the chickpea is a leguminous crop. In other words, the roots of chickpea has nodules in it. Now, these nodules have symbiotic bacteria growing inside them. Now, these bacteria fix the atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into the form that can be used by the plants. For that reason, they make the soil rich in nitrogen. Now, let's talk about irrigation. Can you imagine the life of any living organism without water? Of course not, right? Water supports all forms of life. Plants are also living organisms, so plants also require water. Now, the presence of water allows plants to be protected from frost during cold weather. Water also triggers the germination in the seeds. Now, no seed germinates in the absence of water. When water is given to crops grown in large fields at regular intervals of time, it is called as irrigation. Now, for the irrigation of crops, large amount of water is required. So, there should be a source that has sufficient amount of water to irrigate the fields. Wells, ponds, rivers, lakes and dams act as the source of water. Now, the water from the rivers and dams is diverted to the fields. Now, we all know that necessity is the mother of all inventions, right? During early days, farmers felt the requirement for watering their fields. So they took up several methods based on materials available at that point of time. The first method that was used was moat or the pulley system. In this, water was pulled from the well. Now, in the picture you can see here, the farmer is taking out the water from the well. The empty bucket is placed down in the well and then lifted up with the help of a pulley. And then they are released to the nearby field. Now, the second method is the chain pump. Now, as you can see in the picture, a water holding vessel is placed on a chain. Now with the movement of the chain, the water vessel also moves and water is released in the fields. The third method used is declei. In this, the water is lifted from the well by using wooden logs and ropes. The fourth method is the rahat. This method requires a large well where wheels can be used. The wheels are driven by buffaloes or oxen. Finally, water is taken out from the well and the fields are irrigated. Now, there are many disadvantages associated with these traditional methods. They're time consuming and the efficiency is also very less. Let's learn about the modern methods that are used. The first one is the sprinkler system. In this system, water is sprinkled just like rain falling from the clouds. Of course, the rain falls on the crops here. Now, this is done by attaching the pipe having a rotatory nozzle with the main pipeline. It is generally used in areas having uneven land and even less water supplies. Now, they are used in lawns also and in fields where wheat crops are grown in rows. The second method is the drip system. Now in this, water is slowly and directly dropped near the roots of the plants. Now as the water is dripped near the roots, there are less chances of getting evaporated. The water is utilized by the trees and the fruit plants. The modern methods of irrigation like the sprinkler and the drip method are very efficient in conserving water. Now in the next lesson, we'll talk about protection of the plants from weeds and storage. I'll see you there.